a place where dreams are made, and sometimes where they meet an untimely end. In this city's vibrant heartbeat lies a tragic and compelling mystery, the story of Lotti. Lotti, born Glenn Cole, was not just another name in the vast sea of aspiring New Yorkers. A rising talent in the rap world, his life was a story of hope and hustle, echoing through the streets of the Bronx. He was a young man with a unique voice, a rapper who captivated audiences with his raw energy and genuine passion. His music, a reflection of his life and dreams, was on the cusp of breaking into the limelight. But beneath the surface of his rising stardom, a stark reality lurked. The streets that nurtured his talent also harbored a dangerous undercurrent of brutality and petty revenge, and a rivalry was about to take a devastating turn. On an ordinary spring day in 2020, the life of Lotti would change forever. April 7th, 2020, was a day that began like any other for most of New York's East Village. Lotti had no idea that it would be his last. Allegedly known as Glenn Cole to his family, Lotti was a name new to the streets of the Bronx, a young rapper whose talent was just beginning to shine. Along with a group of his friends, he took a walk on the same streets that had inspired his music, unaware of the tragic fate that awaited him. As the city moved around him, bustling with life despite it being just after midnight, the underlying tension of a long-standing rivalry was simmering. Lotti, associated with the YGs, was entangled in a deep-rooted conflict with the OG gang. That afternoon, the underlying tension escalated to a confrontation. On a street corner that had people with everyday hustle of city life, a group clothed in all black approached Lotti, who was standing around with some of his YG friends. What started as a verbal altercation quickly spiraled into a physical altercation. Lotti ran for his life, and his assailants chased him down. As bystanders looked on, Lotti was stabbed. The scene turned chaotic, and he was hit, a shocking display of brutality that unfolded in mere moments. The assailants fled, leaving Lotti behind to bleed out on the sidewalk. Emergency services rushed to the scene, but Lotti's injuries were too severe. In the ambulance on the way to Harlem Hospital, the grim reality set in. Despite the best efforts of the medical team, Lotti was pronounced gone on arrival. The news of his passing sent ripples of sorrow throughout the community and among his fans. A young life full of promise and talent was extinguished in an act of senseless viciousness. As the sun rose on the city of New York, the streets of the Bronx mourned one of their own. Lotti's final day had ended in a tragedy that would leave an indelible mark on the community and on the hearts of those who knew him. Friends, family, and loved ones gathered for a memorial of the young man taken before his time. They released balloons into the sky in remembrance of him. There were also aims to create a candlelight memorial, but OG gang members kept showing up to stomp out the candles and post to social media. In the wake of Lotti's stabbing, the New York Police Department faced the daunting task of untangling the events of that fateful day. So the investigations began to delve into Lotti's background. As the police tried to piece together the sequence of events leading up to the hit, they faced the challenge of penetrating a tight-knit community, often wary of law enforcement. Each piece of surveillance footage and every bit of information gleaned from the streets brought them closer to understanding the motive and the culprits behind the attack. Speculation had suggested that Lotti's passing was a direct result of a gang rivalry. References to harming Lotti in members of YG gang songs.
How you up 6 you ain't hit shit? On my body. We young niggas smoking on Lotti. Really know who. That ass though. We the ones that smoking on Lotti. Yes.
He get shot today.
We be smoking that ass. We be screaming Lotti.
And the creation of memes about him have led some to the conclusion that he was a target. But his execution was not an isolated incident. The stabbing was just the latest in a string of demise resulting from years of hostility, a tragic outcome of a feud that already claimed too many lives. To understand the speculation around the end of Lotti, it's crucial to delve into the deep-seated rivalry between the two factions that seem to play a significant role in his life and demise. The OGs, or original goons, and the YGs, also known as the Young Gunners. The YGs, originating from the Mott Haven houses, were once a unified group. However, infighting amongst the gang led to a dramatic split. Supposedly around 2010, the YGs from Cortland broke away to form a new group, the OGs. This division marked the beginning of a bitter and escalating feud, a rivalry that would come to define the lives of many young men in the East Village community. The intensity in the conflict came to a head in 2012 when a young member of the OGs, named Noah Balla, was seized alone and vulnerable late at night. He was cornered and brutally assassinated by a group of YGs. This horrific event was a turning point, escalating the feud into a cycle of retaliation and viciousness. The streets became a brutal battleground, with both sides suffering losses. Lotti's connection to the volatile environment was inescapable. As a member of the YG group, he found himself not only amid the ongoing conflict, but as an active participant. The animosity between the OGs and the YGs was not confined to the streets alone. It spilled over into their music. Lotti's lyrics and social media presence often reflected this harsh reality. He was known to make threats against the OGs in his songs, using his music as a vehicle to express the anger and defiance that came with the territory of his gang affiliation. This led to members of each group openly beefing on social media, even going live to trash talk each other. And some have pointed out that in one of the music videos Lotti was in before his passing, he was seen covering a wound on his neck with a bandage. His involvement in brutality and the threats he made against the OGs were undeniably parts of his life and are aspects that cannot be overlooked when telling his story. But they were not the whole story. For the police, solving the case was a step towards addressing the broader issues at play, an effort to stem the flow of viciousness that had taken a young life and left a community in mourning. The brutality of the attack, part of which seems to be captured in a disturbing video, only heightened the urgency of their mission. Due to the video's blurry nature and the lack of information regarding its origin, efforts are being made to identify the person responsible for spreading it around. It was a race against time to bring the perpetrators to justice and to provide some semblance of closure to a grieving community. As the video gained traction on social media, questions surrounding Lotti's age and personal life arose. Sources have provided varying details about his actual age, as well as conflicting information about his background, such as his real name and family life, further clouding the already mysterious case. A breakthrough seemed to appear for detectives when two individuals were apprehended in connection with the homicide. The arrests included 28-year-old William Hopton and another individual that remains unnamed. These arrests were a testament to the diligent efforts of the police, but they also painted a grim picture of the cycle of brutality that had claimed Lotti's life. It becomes clear that until there is a public trial, there is much we still don't know. In remembering him, we must acknowledge the many facets of this case: the known and the unknown, the public and the private. With multiple cases related to his passing still awaiting trial, many questions still linger about the exact circumstances of his final days and what truly led up to his tragic demise. As we wait for the upcoming trial and the truths they may unveil, we hold on to the memory of Lotti, a young talent lost